I've always enjoyed learning about other cultures and watching movies, seeing things on the news, and always have had this inner drive to want to make a difference. And so I decided that I wanted to start a manufacturing business in North Africa.
It sounds frustrating from an American standpoint. What are some of the blessings that you would experience from not having the American attitude of we need to get this done in the best way possible?
Well, it definitely was frustrating when I was starting out, but after I began to adjust my expectations, I began to see the beauty in their approach to work because they're very people-oriented. And so if I was doing a business in America, the deeper I got into the business, the more I might get holed up in my office, just working on office work. But when I'm in this culture in North Africa, I'm learning to see how they really value people and families and relationships.
So alongside of those cultural differences, I'm sure ethics kind of come into play too. And I wonder, what does that look like when you're doing business in a culture that's not your own, and you come across something that you would consider in America to be unethical?
It was a real struggle initially when I got over there, thinking about, okay, what is bribery and what is extortion? And what's good or bad about either one of those? And so one of the first weeks we were over there, we were pulled over by a police officer. And the police officer, he gave some reason for why he pulled us over. We had no idea. We're new to this place. But then he asked us for the equivalent of $15 US. And it was kind of, there wasn't really clear explanation. And so we weren't sure was this bribery or extortion. But as we reflected on it, this guy was seeking to feed his family, and he was probably underpaid at his current role, and so I would see that as an example of extortion. Whereas a couple of days later, there was somebody that was trying to get us to do something illegal and asking us to pay money for that, and more like a bribe to try and give us a step up in his eyes. And I saw that more as bribery, and that's not something we wanted to get into.
Okay, bribery is illegal in most countries, and as international businesses work within these cultures, one of the very strict codes that they have is not to bribe people.
Yeah, it's been an adventure trying to understand the differences between the law of the land and the spirit of the law of the land, and then what crosses the line.
And it becomes a much bigger deal too when your business grows, and you're not talking about $15, you're talking about $15,000 in extortion or bribery, depending on what situation you're in. So I would assume that as you're more and more successful, there's more and more headaches that come along with it.
For sure.